Oh, big rat snake. Very big rat. And a king. Wow. What a double that is. All right, we are headed out after a couple of days of rain, and pretty quickly we've already got a herp on the road. Nice eastern box turtle. Kind of a weird size. We'll get closer and get a look at this guy. But he is standing proudly, and it's actually drizzling a little bit even still right now. It has just been a pretty persistent rain for the last 2 or 3 days, and I've been sick, so pretty good timing. I've gotten to not really miss out on too much besides a lot of rain, but hopefully the storms are passing and we're back to good weather. We'll get this guy out of the road and continue on. All right, it does sound like we might have a car coming, so we'll just make sure this guy, you can see very interesting size now that he's in my hand, but we'll just take him over here to the wood line where he is nice and safe, and we'll continue on. Good afternoon, everybody. It is mid-May, and I'm walking around on the field edge, getting ready to flip some tin. Kind of a late start today due to the rain once again, and the fact that I have COVID for the 15th time. We're gonna flip a little bit of tin today, drive around, maybe see some stuff on the roads too. We shall see. Oh, it's a big guy under a tiny piece of tin. Hey. Well, I was not expecting all that snake to be under that tiny piece of tin. And he is very, very warm and bitey. Just trying to get the spider webs off you, my guy. This guy has clearly been cruising around after the rain and is very nice and warm, charged up. But first snake of the day, pretty quickly, under the first thing we flipped, actually. And I really do not see many racers here at all. I see way more kings. This guy's got a little bit of an interesting look to him. I don't really know why, maybe just more blue than normal. But very, very fired up. We'll just let this guy go. Big, healthy racer, very grumpy. All right, how much of a fight is it gonna be to get you to go back under your tin? That's a big broadhead. Hey, come back under here. Dang. All right, he's still right there. He just keeps coming back. I got him. Hey, buddy. Hey, no biting. A ringneck. The weird double. You don't see snakes under cover with things that are big enough to eat them too often. A box turtle. That's the second time I've flipped a box turtle under this piece of tin that I've never found a snake under. Hey, buddy. He's a cute baby-sized one, too, as they usually are under 10. Come here, brother. Oh, my God. You were adorable. So right as I turned my GoPro off, I looked down, and there was a ringneck on the crawl right by Caitlin's feet with young Boxy Man that was under the tin here. Very cool. It's not every day we see ringnecks out on the surface during the daytime. It's always neat when it happens. I wish I could have gotten that on film. It's always funny how much personality these guys have at this size. It's like they haven't learned to be scared of people yet. But thankfully for him, there's no reason to be scared of most people, because anyone who's not an actual psychopath likes turtles. So we will put this guy back under his tin. Very, very nice. Not the snakiest day so far, but we're finding lots of stuff, and you just can't complain about box turtles and broadhead skinks. Kingsnake. Haha, yes. Oh, he's pretty too. There we go. Well, it was starting to feel like we weren't going to get one, but there we are. Nice adult eastern kingsnake. Oh, we found his hole. Hey, bud. What's up? Oh, you're pretty. He was pretty. Freshly shed. Smelling like stink. Very nice. That's what we came to see today. Hopefully we can find a couple. All right, just took a few photos of this guy. He's starting to attract flies, as many king snakes do after about 10 minutes of sitting there musking and pooping everywhere. But nice looking adult male king snake. I feel like we actually saw this guy last year. He's kind of starting to go into ball mode on us, but really cool looking belly on this guy. And look at that solid black tail. Sitting really nicely in hand now. You can see that solid black tail is really cool looking. Very shiny. He's got a little bit of a stripe down the side. We've been seeing that a lot lately too, across a couple of different localities, but very nice. First king snake of the day, and we still have enough tin that we might get into a couple of them if we're lucky. There you go. Slowly coming back to life and back under his piece. Oh, big rat snake. Very big rat. And a king. Wow. What a double that is. Oh my God, this is such a beefy king snake. Wow.
Whoa.
That's a 5-foot king. That's easily the biggest king I've ever seen here.
Really?
Yeah, for sure. Hey buddy. Man, when you find a 6-foot rat snake under tin, you don't expect to flip the next layer and see another snake, but that's what happened. Look at these two. Just a handful of beefy snake right there. So it's not only is it a big rat snake, but a big king snake too. I mean, the king snake kind of makes the rat snake look small, or the rat snake makes the king snake look normal, but it's actually a really big rat. I mean, by far the biggest rat I've seen here. And then the biggest king. What's up, dude? That's gonna look so goofy on the GoPro, I'm sure. Oh, hello. What's up, big guy? All right, I'm gonna go photograph the king snake. We'll let this big rat snake, who's also a little bit atypically gray. Remember, we actually found a very atypically gray rat at this spot last year. It was way grayer than this guy, like light gray. This guy's kind of medium gray, I would describe that, but very nice looking snake, big and healthy, big enough to hang out with a full-grown 5-foot king snake. So that goes to show these big rats aren't scared of very much. Well, that is such a beefy king snake. Definitely the biggest king I've seen here. Probably the biggest rat I've seen here. Really don't see a lot of rats. It's mostly king snakes. It's definitely the most common snake I see at this spot, which is crazy. There's not a lot of places like that, but the places there are like that are a lot of fun. This guy's really neat looking in that he's very, very fat. Like, he's borderline obese. He's got a meal in him now, and you can't really even tell just because of how beefy he is. Regardless of that, he's just a very hefty snake. Very, very well built. Beautiful face on this side. Look at that. The lip bars are really nice looking. Just a great looking snake. But we'll put him back under his tin with his rat snake buddy. We've got a couple more things to flip, but this might be the end of the day here with these guys. Not that I can complain about that. It was a pretty quick flipping session today, but very productive. All right, well, we're gonna let this guy go, but I wanted to give you a little bit of scale just so you can see. This is a pushing 5-foot king snake, maybe 4.5 foot, but like a 5-foot king snake is really big these days, especially in North Georgia. You know, a big adult's 4 foot, so we see mostly 3-foot snakes. You start getting above 4 foot and approaching 5, and you're entering, at least for North Georgia, monster territory. And like I said, found a lot of king snakes at this spot. This is the biggest one I've seen here yet, and I would guess him to be under 5 feet, but getting close, maybe 4'10" or something like that. But very, very beefy. That's really the most impressive part about this snake, is just how healthy it is. You can see he's got a meal in him too, so that's making him look a little bit beefier than he normally would be. But very, very big and healthy snake. We'll put him back. All right, bud, back to your rat snake. Star-crossed lovers. What you got in that Waffle House cup? Ooh. Well, that was a decent little evening flipping session. We'll pick this up again tomorrow, where I'm hoping to be back to 100%. All right, we're on the way home, and day ringneck number 2 for the day. Just hanging out on the road in the middle of the afternoon. Very, very strange to see 2 ringnecks out in the daytime today, but if there was ever a time for it, it's after a bunch of rain in the springtime. All right, dude, you were in a big hurry to get off the road when I was running back to you. Good afternoon, everybody. We are once again getting a late start. Unfortunately, I had to get my complimentary oil changed today for my new car, which is both cool and a massive inconvenience because I could just change it myself if it wouldn't void my free oil changes I get with my service plan. Anyways, we're out here for the day. The weather is fantastic. It's afternoon now, and we've got dense cloud cover, and it's kind of threatening to rain, but I think we're probably going to be good. We're out here in a patch of really nice habitat, honestly. I've only been out here once before, and I've never found anything here. So I'm very impressed with how well this place is being managed. Shouts outs to the guys taking care of this property. Once again, it's a major point of state pride for me. I feel like the state of Georgia and a lot of our private landowners do a very good job of taking care of the land here, and that is something that I am endlessly appreciative of. Because if this stuff never got burned, it would just slowly turn into a choked out mess of invasive vegetation and native vegetation that just grows super fast, like the sweet gum trees you see there. Oh my God, what? How is my first snake here a giant Coachwhip? Are you kidding? What? I am shocked right now. Holy crap. That is insane. It's huge. All right, I gotta put this back somehow. Hey, buddy. Hey, no biting. Oh my God, you are way too big. That's one of the biggest Coachwhips I've ever seen. Its head is just enormous. What's up, dude? I don't know really how to get much scale in here with this guy other than to just hold him up in front of the camera. That is incredible. He is so big. This is just, it's goofy. Like his tail is on the ground. That's 7 feet of snake. I mean, if this was a human, he would be a foot taller than me. And I'm not 6 foot tall. I'm like 5'9", 5'10". I'm not a huge guy, but this snake is massive. This is one of the longest native snakes I've ever found. It's incredible, and it's beautiful. And it's such a sweetheart. I mean, look at this. Just no desire to bite. What a guy. Love Coachwhip so much. Just does not get better. I mean, the only thing that could have been under there that's better than this is a pine snake or a king snake of equal size, or 5+ foot king snake. This puts me in a kind of weird situation because I don't really have that much tin to flip here from here on out. I mean, I've gotten through like the little bit of stuff that I have found here. And this is the only snake I've seen. So we might just go home and flip the yard tin. There is one more spot on the way home we can check. But, I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. Such a perfect snake. Such a gigantic individual, too. I mean, this has got to be in the top 3 biggest Coachwhips I've ever seen. And probably in the top 5 biggest native snakes I've ever seen in the U.S. It's just an absolute monster. There's nothing that makes me happier than seeing just exemplary individuals of snakes like this. So cool. So perfect. So much personality. This is actually probably a decent time to talk about how clear cutting is not necessarily a bad thing for snakes all of the time. And there's definitely instances in which clear cutting is a terrible thing. But for some species like Coachwhips and pine snakes, clear cutting actually creates habitat. Now you can see there's a longleaf pine right there. So this place is being restored actively. They're trying to make this into a nicer forest than it would have been beforehand. And it's definitely working. As you can see, this guy has chosen to spend his time here. And maybe he was spending his time here before it was clear cut too. But more than likely, he was not hanging out in this area as much because it wasn't as open. And these guys like open areas. They're big snakes. They move a lot. They cover a lot of ground, so they need large open areas. And longleaf pine savanna restoration, at least in the Georgia Piedmont, creates these openings, which are really the only places these snakes exist in the Piedmont. Places that are perpetually open and incredibly warm with lots of lizards and other snakes. You can see this guy's getting ready to zoom on me, and I don't want that to happen, so we're just gonna gently interfere with that. Pick this guy up for a second. Just what a gentle giant, though. Hasn't even thought about biting a single time. It is not lost on me how lucky I am to have these snakes close to home. This is a new spot and a new county I've never found a Coachwhip in. This is a spot I've only ever been to once before today. You can see at one point there were some pretty large trees here, so I'm not really sure what this habitat would have looked like before it got clear cut. That's another thing I don't really agree with, is cutting down mature loblolly to plant longleaf. This place will be better once it's fully restored, I think, but not necessarily because there's longleaf here, more so because it's just actively being managed and kept open. I don't know if you guys can tell, but they actually burned this year too. So it got burned, it got manually thinned, it got burned, planted with longleaf, and the snakes are still existing. We'll just let this incredible snake go back into his mansion. Hopefully you get good use out of that, and we'll continue on. So this is what the woods look like here on the other side of the clear cut. Very, very closed canopy. Not the kind of place you would ever expect to see a coach whip if this clear cut slash longleaf restoration is not going on right here. I'm still honestly kind of shocked by that. I mean, I knew this place had potential, but I didn't think it really had first snake ever found here being a 7-foot coach whip potential. But you know, these are the things that we don't complain about. I'm about to check the last little bit of tin I have here. This last bit looks a little more king snaky, so I'm really hoping we can get a king here. But if we don't see anything, it's not a big deal. We'll move on to another spot and probably wrap up the day flipping the yard tin. Another ringneck. That guy is all scuffed up. So there's the second ringneck at this spot. He is really beat up, so we're not even gonna pick him up. But 2 ringnecks and a coach whip. That's been it. Oh, Racer. Hey, buddy. Hello. Hello. Are we friendly? Oh, I hope you don't have a king snake inside you. He's got a snake in him. Oh, man. All right. Racer's gonna race, I guess. Make sure there's nothing under there. So that's this first snake that piece has produced this year, and he's definitely got food in him. I would guess it's a snake based on how elongated it is, but honestly, I don't know. Hopefully it's not a mole king or something, but that is how things go, I suppose. Hey, bud, here you go. Go back under. I just had a nice triple fossorial flip. This ringneck has a massive food item in it. And then a worm snake and another ringneck. So it's pretty common to see big snakes like racers with food boluses, but to see a little ringneck with such a big food item is definitely weird. I wonder what that is. Probably like a big slimy salamander or a worm or something. Very cool. He can barely move, he's so fat. We'll just look at that belly. I guess it could be gravid. It doesn't look quite right to be gravid, though. It looks more like a meal. Hey, go back under your tin. There you go. Ringneck. He's also kind of beat up looking. A lot of beat up ringnecks today. This is the first snake in this stack all year. Oh, there's another ringneck. Way down here. Hey, buddy. I got him. All right, there we go. Little double ringer. I guess that one's not that beat up, just a little bit chewed up by something. All right, a lot of new snakes so far since last time we flipped here. Hopefully that's a good sign. And here's another worm snake. Fossorials are all over the place today. I guess all the rain brought them out. Hey, there we go. Is that a different one? It is a different one. And a race runner. Different scarlet snake and a race runner. So I've long theorized that the scarlet snakes like hanging out under this mat because the gravid race runners come under here and lay their eggs in burrows. And if I had to guess, I would sure say that this snake is probably sitting there waiting for one of these things to drop eggs, at which point it'll raid the burrow and eat them. Very, very cool. This scarlet snake is either going into or coming out of shed, so it's not quite as pretty as the last one, but still, the second yard scarlet snake I've seen in like the last 5 years, and both within a couple of weeks of each other. Hello. So this guy is not nearly as healthy as the last scarlet we found. Kind of shocking to really see 2 scarlet snakes under this same piece of cover within a couple weeks of each other, after going literally years without seeing any. Such a weird snake. And this one definitely needs a meal, so we're gonna let him back under there and hope he can get some race runner eggs. When we started flipping all those fossorials, I knew we had a chance at seeing one of these today, but I was definitely not expecting it. That is nuts. And this guy's got like a, I don't know if he's got a blister on his head or something, but his head is so beefy looking. Very strange looking snake. Kind of small too. I mean, it's not nearly as big as the last one we found under this. That was my first clue that this was a different snake. And then of course the other one was a lot oranger than this. This one's more of a typical looking scarlet snake. But I do think this one might even be prettier with a fresh shed just because of how much white it has. Very, very cool. All right, here you go, dude. So sweet. Hopefully we can see more than one or two this year. I would be kind of surprised. I really need to come night shine this part of the yard and see if I can find one out crawling around during the summer. One of my favorite things about nature is that even after all these years of doing this, and much less so plants, but just being interested in the outdoors, I still find things I didn't know exist even here in my own yard. This is Carolina climbing milkweed, and it's a plant that I didn't know existed until this exact moment. I saw it and thought it was weird and looked it up and identified it, and sure enough, it's a milkweed. I don't know if it's a true milkweed or if that's just a weird common name thing, but either way, it's a very cool plant, very subtly beautiful flowers. It's climbing up this, I think this is sparkleberry, but I'm not positive about that. Either way, really neat little plant to end the episode. Carolina climbing milkweed.